Good evening, all listeners who are listening to Ghost Stories from the Midnight Voice channel. Tonight, I have a short, true story from Thailand to share with all of you before go to bed. This story is titled Ghost of the Fifth Floor. The person this happened to is named Top, and to make it easy for all of you to understand and listen, I'm just going to tell it as if I'm Top. This story happened back in 2013 in Khon Kaen Province, Thailand. This absolutely terrifying incident happened when I went to study at Khon Kaen University. And because my home was too far from the university, I had to find a room to rent and stay in. At that time, my friend and I, who were from the same village, rented a room in a 5-floors building. But by coincidence, all the rooms on the lower floors were taken, so we decided to take a room on the very top floor. The first 2 months we stayed there, nothing strange happened. But one day, my roommate went back home to visit his parents. I didn't go with him because I had just visited home last week. Since I'm the one who gets scared of ghosts, after my friend left, I went down to the second floor and asked to sleep in another friend's room, who was also a classmate. Do you know, when I went to sleep in my friend's room on the second floor, it was like I was inviting ghosts to haunt me. Actually, ever since I was a kid, I've had a natural connection with ghosts, but I've never seen them in clear form. I've only heard voices. That night, after chatting with my friend, the owner of the room, we both went to sleep as usual. A little deeper into the night, I suddenly heard voices, like people talking right next to my ear. When I opened my eyes, I didn't see anything at all. But the voices were still there. They didn't go away. At that moment, I sat up and looked around. I saw my friend, the owner of the room, was sleeping. So I knew right away that I was being haunted. There was nothing I could do. So I lie back down, covering my ears with a pillow. But no matter how hard I tried to cover them, the voices were still there. A little while later, I started reciting some Buddhist chants that I knew by heart, but the voices were still there. When I realized it wasn't working, I just kept trying to sleep until I finally drifted off. I don't know when. The next morning, as the sky started to get a little bit bright, I went back up to my own room. As soon as I reached the 5th floor, I suddenly saw a man standing on the railing. I saw him for just a few seconds, then that man jumped down, which shocked me so much because I had never seen something like that with my own eyes before. Right after I saw that, I quickly walked over and peered down, but there was no body down below. Not convinced, I ran downstairs to check clearly. But there was still no body down there. That meant I was truly haunted, and it showed itself in the form of a person jumping to their death. When I asked the senior students who had lived in that rental building for many years, they told me that last year a male student had jumped to their death from the 5th floor. But actually, the 5th floor doesn't seem to be haunted much. Instead, the haunting happens frequently on the 2nd floor. Some people say it's because the person who died, before moving up to the 5th floor, used to stay on the 2nd floor, so he wants to visit his friends on that floor. Others say that the reason the student's ghost appears frequently on the 2nd floor is because some of his friends on the 2nd floor borrowed things from him and haven't paid him back yet. When I heard the seniors tell me that, I understood the whole story, and I decided I would never sleep on the 2nd floor again. That night, when my roommate came back from home, we slept in our own room on the 5th floor as usual. And that night, I was haunted again. But this time it was stranger than last night. It wasn't just voices, it was a physical appearance. I had already turned off the lights to sleep, but a little later I suddenly heard voices, like people talking about something in a surprised way. So I got up and walked to open the door to look outside, without calling my roommate to come with me. As soon as I got outside, I suddenly saw the figure of a man standing on the railing again. But this time he was facing me. I only saw him for a split second. Then he leaned back and dropped down, making me scream and lose my voice. But I didn't follow to see if he hit the ground or not, because I knew for sure that it was a haunting. I quickly ran back into my room, trembling with fear. But that night, I didn't encounter anything else. And I didn't encounter anything on the following nights either, because I had already moved to another place. If I had continued to stay there, I would have definitely encountered it again, and I wouldn't have been able to escape. Now it's the end of the story. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen. Goodbye. See you in the next video.